Today we are going to talk about summation. Right here we have three examples of summation. This letter is called sigma, which signifies summation. The first three letters of the word summation says sum, and that tells us that is the result of addition. So we will be adding. Now the only question is, what do we add? Now when you see the problem like this, it means we are going to add, since this symbol is summation. So the bottom part right here tells us what number we should start plugging in. So the first number that we plug in is 1, and that will replace n. So we end up with 3 times 1. The next number after 1 is 2. So we're going to plug in 2. So we end up with 3 times 2. The next number after 2 is 3. So 3 times 3. And the next number we plug in is 4. 3 times 4. Now, we stopped at 4 specifically because the top number right here says the last number we plug in should be 4. And after we do that, we're going to add every single one of them. So, if we're going to add every single one of them, then that means 3 times 1 is 3, plus 3 times 2, which is 6, and 3 times 3, which is 9, and 3 times 4, which is 12. All we have to do is add them up. This is just basic math at this point. 3 plus 6 is 9, 9 plus 9 is 18, 18 plus 12 is 30, and we are done with this problem. Now, for the next example, it's the same concept. We are going to start plugging in 3 for n. That's the first number we start with. So we're going to end up with 1 over, and we're plugging in 3 for n. Then we're going to take the next number after 3, which is 4. We're plugging in 4, so that becomes 1 over 4. Then we plug in the next number, which is 5. So that'll be 1 over 5. And we stop there because that tells us the last number we plug in should be 5. And we're going to add them all up because it does ask me to add them up based on the word summation. Now, in order to add them, once again, it's just basic math. You need to have common denominator between 3, 4, and 5. So that common denominator would be 30, 60. That'd be 60. 3 times 20 will give me 60. 4 times 15 will give me 60. And 5 times 12 would give me 60. So after finding a common denominator, all we gotta do is add. That'd be 35. 35 plus 12 will be 47. And we end up with 47 over 60. And we are done with this problem. Now the last question right here, same concept. We take the number 2 and plug it in, and there is nowhere to plug it into. It's a constant number of 3. No matter what we plug in here, the answer is always 3. So we plug in 2, we try to plug in 2, and we get a 3. We try to plug in 3, and we still get a 3. We try to plug in 4, it's still a 3. We try to plug in 5, still a 3. And we try to plug in 6, and it's still a 3. And we stop there because 6 is the last number that we tried to plug in. And we're going to add them all up. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 5 threes, and therefore that is a 15. And we are done with summation.